Hi guys, I'm going to make a video about reborn care essentials or things I find helpful for them for either caring for them or just for role play. So I've made a few of these before, but my camera quality was not as good then and some of my things have probably changed, so I thought I'd make an updated version for you guys, because I know a lot of people are getting into reborns lately, so I thought it would be helpful to kind of know what you need. So for everything, like, you don't have to have like a certain amount of clothes or blankets or anything like that. I'm just recommending a few things, so like however much stuff you have is all your preference. So yeah, these are just a few items that I find really helpful. So the first thing, if your reborn has rooted hair, you're going to need is some way to do their hair. So I like using this spray bottle for their hair. I just have water in here. I know some people like using mohair conditioner or just water mixed with conditioner, but I prefer using just water, and I got the spray bottle at the dollar store. I know people have like the mist ones, but with this one, all you have to do is turn the thing and then it just sprays, so I really like this. So that is definitely like the main must-have for me. And then another thing that I find is a definite must-have is a brush and comb set. This is the brush and this is the comb. And combs are very helpful if your reborn has thick hair, because they can, you know, get through it better than the brush. So I really like this comb. And then this is the brush. It's a Precious Moments one, and I like the handle because it's like a grip. And I use this brush the most. I have a few sets, but I like this one because it's bigger and it's really soft. I have one by Safety First, and they're both white, and the brush is really hard and the bristles are kind of rough, so I don't like using that one because I feel like it'll pull their hair out, but I recommend getting a soft brush just so you know it won't take any hair out. And then along with the hair, if your reborn has really easy to tangle hair or just really finely rooted hair, just a little baby toothbrush kind of helps get the tangles out, or, you know, just help maintain it. So these are helpful sometimes as well. And then if you have a little girl, I really like using the little headbands for them. I prefer just like the solid color ones, nothing like too big or crazy. So just like the really simple ones like that, or just like a flower. So I really like putting those on the girls. And then another thing I recommend is a baby washcloth, because sometimes you're going to need to wipe your reborn down because they get dusty, or, you know, you just kind of want to give them some TLC. So I really like this baby washcloth because it's very thin, so you know the amount of water going on it, whereas with the thicker ones you don't know the exact amount because they absorb more. But for these, since they don't absorb as much water, you kind of know like how much is actually going in the washcloth, just because you don't want to get it too wet. So I like using that. And then I recommend getting a travel size baby wash, because if you get the pump one, you're going to have it forever and it's going to take up a lot of room. So I like using the little travel ones because you go through them more often, and you can try some different brands if you want to and just not have to be stuck with the same one all the time. And then I also recommend baby powder. This isn't for everyone. I mean, if you want your reborns to have like the more realistic effect or just for role play and stuff, I'd recommend getting the baby powder, especially if you have like a full vinyl or like a baby with a torso. Kayla has a torso, so I just put it directly in the diaper and then just put it on her. Whereas for reborns with cloth bodies, I don't recommend like putting it on them and then just putting the diaper on, because it can stick to the body, and then you're gonna have to replace it over time because it just ends up building up on the bottom. So if you're gonna use baby powder for a reborn with a cloth body, I recommend laying the diaper out before you put it on them, and then just putting it in. Just put a little bit in, and then make sure you rub it in really well so minimal amount will get on their body. And then something some of you might like is baby cologne. I know they probably make more brands make it, but this scent of this isn't like great, but it's not like bad. But what I do is I actually dilute it, so I mix it with a lot of water so the smell isn't as strong. And I don't actually use it that much. I only use it after I give them a bath, and then I just kind of like rub it in my hands, and I'll kind of pat it on their clothes and their blanket just so they, you know, smell a little different. So I don't know if that's something you're interested in. I'd recommend getting it, but I try to see what it smells like first before you get it because you might not like how it smells. Going along with like diapers and stuff, you're gonna need like at least a few diapers to switch out. And if you have a newborn size reborn, which is probably the most common size, I like getting the size 1 diapers just because I find that it fits them better. So these are a few brands I like. I really like the Pampers, just because they're really soft. And then also like the ones with cute designs. These are just like generic Kroger brand diapers, and I've had these for years, and if you just get a full pack they'll last you forever, but just has little bees on them, and you can, you know, get a lot of them just because some people have extras and sell them at like a grass sale or whatever, so you can get a chance to get a lot of different variety. And one thing I will say is that if you get the Honest diapers, those are the diapers with the really cute prints, even though they are very cute, only use them once with the reborn, or just keep the one on them. If you don't want to throw it out, keep it on them for a while, because if you reuse them, which I always do with diapers, and then you just fold the tabs back over, there gets like a residue on the diaper, and it causes the skin on your reborn to be sticky. It'll just have random sticky spots where the diaper was. So you obviously don't want that happening. I've had it happen to Kayla, and I've tried to get it off, but it doesn't come off that easily. So if you're going to use Honest diapers, just use them. Just use the diaper, the specific diaper, just one time, or keep it on them for a while, just so you don't have to reuse it. So just a tip there. And along with diapers, I would recommend a cloth diaper. If you have clothes that are too big for your reborn that you'd like them to fit, this adds a little more like of a bottom to them, so it makes them a little more realistic to hold them. So, and it adds like a little bit, you know, since it adds some stuff on their bottom, they can fit into clothes a little bit better that are just a little bit baggy on them. This is by Baby City. I got this on eBay, and it was like $5 shipped, and it was from China. So, and what I really like about it is that you can adjust it to fit any baby. It can fit Claudia, who's a 9-month size, and then can fit the newborn sizes really well, just like this. So you can use it for a lot of babies. So I recommend getting one of these just if you want to try it out, and they just add a little bit of a bottom and realistic feel to them. And along with diapers, this is like a waterproof changing mat, and I like using this sometimes after I just wipe them down, just so I don't get because I always change them on my bed so I don't get my bed wet or anything. So I like using that, and those are really cheap too. So yeah, and along with changing, I like using baby wipes. I wouldn't recommend using baby wipes on their vinyl, just because it's not good for the paint sometimes, depending on what your artists use. And yeah, but I like these just for having around the nursery. Sometimes you need them if something, you know, like when you seal bottles, sometimes you need to use a wipe or something. So I like getting just the little packs. These are on clearance for 20 cents. They're normally $1, so pretty good deal for $1 too. So yeah, I like using those. And one thing that I recommend is getting just a big pack. I know Huggies makes like the really cute design ones, so I got just a tub of the wipes one time, and after I used the wipes I just kept the container. I know they make like frozen ones now, so if you want to have like a cute case, just buy the case, and once you're done with the wipes you can put refills in it too, so I like using that. And they're also a great storage thing too, if you just want to use it as like for bows or something like that, you can, or even diapers, you can keep them in there. Another thing I'd recommend for storage is getting like the little organizers, or like using empty containers, or like the cute baskets to store stuff in. Those are really helpful. And for pacifiers, my favorite brand is Nook, but it's all based on like what reborn you have pretty much that'll fit their face. But with clips, even though this is like a really cute one, it doesn't match a lot of outfits. So I really like getting like the plain color ones because I find myself using them more than like the cute ones, even though it is really cute. It doesn't match a lot of their stuff, so I like just the solid colors because they go with more things. Another thing I'd recommend is getting something like special for your reborn, whether it's like a little blanket or a stuffed animal. I like having like something unique to each one, so each of the girls has a different little taggy blanket, so I just think it's kind of cute, like a little comfort item for them. Then this is the only like clothing item that I think is like an essential, and that's a white onesie, no matter like what kind of reborn you have. Like if they have a cloth body, I always keep a onesie under their stuff, unless they're wearing another onesie, but I love using just the plain white onesies under all their stuff, just so it doesn't, color doesn't bleed or anything, or things like that. Also, scratch mittens with newborns, they're kind of realistic, and I just think they're cute, so I thought I'd include that. And for blankets, again, like it doesn't matter how many you have, but ones that I really like are the muslin blankets, and they're very expensive, but I actually found this one at a garage sale, so you could probably find them pretty cheap if they're used. But I just really like this because it's really thin. You can use it in the summer or the winter, and it's very big as well, so you can cover the car seat with it, or swaddle them, or do kind of anything with it. So I really like these blankets. And then another blanket I really like are just like the really big, soft ones. This one's minky on one side, and then just like a fleece on the other, and I love these also just because they're really big, and I like putting them like behind them when they're in the car seat or bouncy seat, so I like those. Another thing I recommend is a boppy. If you can get, all the ones I've had have been used, so, and you can get different covers for them too, so you can have like the same one, and if you have a boy and girl, and just use different covers, so it just makes it easy if you want to prop them up somewhere or have them sleep somewhere. So I just find it helpful sometimes when you're changing them too, or just having a place to set them like on your bed and display them. This is very useful for that, so if you can, I would recommend getting one and trying it out. And then for bottles, well, first for pacifiers, I recommend getting magnets. It depends on where you want to go. I know they sell them at Walmart, and Home Depot, and eBay. So there's always that. And then with glue for pacifiers, I use E6000. I don't use like the big tub of it. I get like the tiny ones because it kind of dries out over time, so when you get the smaller tubes it'll last a while. So those are what I use for pacifiers. And for bottles, I just use clear silicone sealant. You can pretty much find this anywhere. And then I also like using bottle brushes. Even if you don't feel like you're gonna need it, I still feel like it's something helpful to have, just because bottles can go bad sometimes, and if you get a new bottle or a used bottle and you want to clean it, this just is so much more helpful, just because you can really get it clean. So, and these are fairly cheap, like, I think this was like $2, so not bad at all. And like, you don't have to ever replace it. Like, with real babies, you probably would, just because you'd use it every day, but you don't really use it like that much with reborns, so you can have the same one for a while. Another thing I'd recommend for bottles and stuff is bibs. It doesn't matter how many you have, but I always usually put a bib on them when I'm pretending to feed them, just because I don't want it to like leak on accident and like get on their clothes or on their bodies, so I like having it around their neck just so it doesn't go in, go into their bodies, or just to be safe. I like using those. Another thing I really like are these burp cloths, and this one's by Gerber, and it's like really soft, and if I spill a bottle or something, I like having this because it's like in arm's reach and I can just wipe it off with this and not have to worry. So, and it's also really realistic as well, so I love using the little burp cloth things. And then also, for if you're going to make bottles, you need fabric softener. That's my method that I use. It doesn't matter what kind you get, just be careful about scents. If you don't want it to have a scent to it, just make sure you get like non-fragrance, and you have to make sure that the fabric softener is white. So what I always do if I get a new bottle is I just pour it in the store, I just pour it into the cap and make sure that it's white. So yeah, just any kind of white fabric softener. And also some vanilla extract for color for the formula, or the fake formula, just to give it some color so it's not so white. But you probably have that around your kitchen anyway, so I didn't think I would include it. These are just some bottle brands I'd recommend. I really like the Ma'am bottles just because they're simple, but they have cute designs. Playtex drop-in bottles, they make the ones now where you can keep it straight or you can angle it, so that's definitely very cool. My favorite are the Nook bottles. They make really cute designs, and they come out with designs fairly often, so yeah, I love those. And I also love this Even Flow one. I'm pretty sure they still sell it, but it's called like a Babe Beck bottle or something like that, and I just like how you can hold it. And I like this one. I'm pretty sure they still sell these too, the Playtex Vent Air, and it has the little thumb things on the sides, so I like the angle bottles. So those are just some bottles I'd recommend. And depending on the shape of your reborn's face, I would be careful about like the really thin nipple bottles, just the one with the really small nipples, because sometimes it doesn't look realistic when you have it against their face, so because you can still sometimes see their mouth. So if you don't want it to look like unrealistic when you're feeding them, I would keep that in mind. And the last thing that I would consider definitely being essential for me is somewhere to put your reborn. Either a car seat or a bouncer is what I recommend first. You could also get like a swing or something, but they're not as portable. I would prefer to get a car seat like before a bouncer, because the bouncers aren't as portable and they don't have as many uses, but they're also more like comfortable for them. But I would recommend one that cradles the baby more. This one kind of sits really upright, so sometimes the reborns don't look as realistic in them. So I'd recommend one that's like bigger and is able to, with a deep seat that's able to cradle the baby more. And then with car seats, you can obviously use them like as a bed and as like an actual car seat if you want to take the reborns out. With real babies, you're not supposed to get a used car seat, but obviously for reborns, if you're just going to be using them since they're dolls, it doesn't matter if you get a used car seat or an expired car seat. Expired car seats are something you should never use for a real child, but obviously for reborns, since they aren't real, it doesn't really matter. Both of the car seats, well, this one is expired, but the other one I have is close to being expired, but it doesn't matter, again, since they're dolls. So I'd recommend getting a car seat before you get a bouncer. They're pretty easy to find used on Craigslist or something, or you can get a new one if you want to spend the money on it. But yeah, you can use them like when you take them out, in the car, like in the shopping cart. If you want to get like a travel system or a stroller to use it with, you can. But yeah, I just like using it because you can cover it with a blanket and you can't tell it's a car seat, and you use it as a bed and stuff. And you can kind of carry them around the house or wherever if you want to take them places with the handle. So that's why I'd recommend getting the car seat first, just because I feel like it has more uses than a bouncer would. But if you want to get something else other than a car seat, I'd probably get a bouncer first. So I hope this video was helpful to some of you who are new to Reborns or looking into getting your first Reborn. So yeah, let me know if you consider these essentials or other things that you like that I didn't include in the video. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.